said some racist and anti-Semitic stuff on his podcast recently, and I'm going to be responding to that video. Keep in mind, he still protested he didn't do anything wrong, and that Viacom was in the wrong and CBS was in the wrong for firing him over his comments that were terrible. So, let's get started.
Melanin comes with compassion. Melanin comes with soul that we call it. We call it soul. We soul brothers and sisters. That's the melanin that connects us.
Right. Compassion can come from any race. It doesn't matter white, black, Mexican, whoever. Compassion just comes from the heart, and it doesn't matter what the person looks like. If they have compassion, they do. You shouldn't judge like what they look like and say, "Oh yeah, this person has compassion," but just because this person over here is lighter than I am, they don't have compassion. Like, no, that's not how you go about things at all.
The people that don't have it are a little, and I'm gonna say this carefully.
Oh, you're gonna try carefully. I think that would have been best said before you said some of the stupid stuff you just said. So yeah, a little late for you being careful.
Are a little less. And where the term actually comes from, because I'm bringing it all the way back around to Minister Farrakhan.
So you're quoting Farrakhan. Did you know something about Farrakhan, that he's a noted anti-Semite and an all-around bigoted person? And that's the person you're going to quote. If you're going to quote someone like Farrakhan, your point is automatically null and void. I don't want to hear anything you have to say. I'd be out altogether. So anything you have to say from this point on, I'm not going to agree with, because you're quoting Farrakhan of all people.
To where they may not have the compassion or the when they were sent to the mountains of Caucasus, when they didn't have the power of the sun.
You're not very bright, are you?
That the sun then started to deteriorate them. So then they're acting out of fear. They're acting out of low self-esteem.
So you're saying people are deteriorating, the sun makes them act out of fear, and they have low self-esteem. What? How in any way does this make any sense? How in any way does this make sense? It sounds like this was just came up out of thin air by a crazy person who just wanted to connect a few sentences together. That just sounds like you're writing an essay and you just put as many words as you can to fill up the page. This in no way isn't a cognizant, coherent sentence. There's no way. The sun doesn't do anything besides make things hot. That's the only thing the sun does. It does not cause fear. It does not cause deterioration. It does not cause low self-esteem. It doesn't do that. It just makes things hot. It makes people want to go inside and turn the air conditioning and get some water. That's the only thing the sun does. It does nothing else but that. So I don't know where you got this garbage diatribe from, but wherever you got it from, you need to go put it back, because it just does not compute at all.
They're acting out of a deficiency. So therefore, the only way that they can act is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
fight or flight.
In order to survive.
How come Nick Cannon can say the sentence and get away with it, have people defending and say, you know what? He's just speaking truth, you know? He didn't deserve to be fired by Viacom or CBS or NBC or something like that. He didn't deserve it. But imagine if someone was white and said the exact same things Nick Cannon has said in this podcast so far. Especially that sentence. People will be calling for him to be canceled. They call him bigoted. They call him racist. They call him everything in the book. But when it's Nick Cannon, they're like, I have every excuse. I have the 1,034 excuses of why he wasn't wrong. It's like, if you're going to condemn this over here, condemn this over here. Condemn both. Be consistent. Don't have hypocrisy in your mind when it comes to that. Please don't. When the ball's on another court and you're like, yeah, I can condemn that. Right. But when the ball comes up to your court, you're just automatically scared to make a shot. and say, you know what? I'll condemn him for being bigoted and for being racist. Instead, you know what? You just make up a 1,034 excuses to why he's not. I don't see why it's that difficult. Like to have consistency when it comes to calling people for racism. I don't know why that's more difficult these days. But you know, people are gonna be people. But in my mind, I would call all kinds of people out for racism. Especially Nick Cannon for what he just said in the sentence right here. That's just something to keep in mind.
Exactly.
So then these people who didn't have what we had, and when I say we, I speak of the melanated people.
Right.
Please don't drag me into your mess. There is no we. When you're speaking like how you're speaking, there is no we. So don't drag me into your anti-Semitic bigoted mess. Please don't.
They had to be savages. They had to be barbaric. Because they're in these Nordic mountains. They're in these rough, torrential environments.
What the fuck is going on?
So they're acting as animals.
Right.
So they're the ones that are actually closer to animals. They're the ones that are actually the true savages.
Terry Crews said, I want to unite people, bring all people together, all races together, like to have a dialogue. And I agree with that. That's great. That's what you should do. But for some reason, people had a vitriolic response and they say, are you crazy? You shouldn't do that. Get out of here with that. It's a crazy idea. Those same people that were going after Terry Crews and saying his idea was stupid about uniting people are agreeing with Nick Cannon when he was being the most divisive, bigoted, and racist. And people chose the bigoted, racist, and divisive message over the uniting one, which that's mind-boggling to me. Why people even do that? Well, you know, people are going to be people, and Nick Cannon wants sole ownership of Wild 'N Out after Viacom let him go, and CBS also cut ties with him because they sponsored his podcast because they didn't want to deal with like his comments and they feel that he never hurt their brand. So that's the same thing that Viacom did. He said, "Oh, I want sole ownership of Wild 'N Out, Viacom. You're on the wrong side of history." Like, what kind of history is saying that people are less because they're lighter or they don't look like you? What kind of history is that? And what kind of truth is that to where you're spouting racist, bigoted things? So dumb. And that people are agreeing with this is just confuses my mind. Like, it's so out of left field. It's crazy. And the last thing I'll say before I wrap it up is that think before you speak, and maybe you should keep your anti-Semitic and bigoted thoughts to yourself and not put it on the podcast, Nick Cannon. Think about that next time before you open your mouth. So this has been BTC. If you want to leave me a comment in the comment section below, you can go ahead and do that. The video I used in this will be in the link in the description if you want to go check it out for yourself. Have a great day, guys, and remember, don't be divisive, and always think about, like, open up dialogue with different people with different perspectives, no matter what they look like. See you.